Sharisse Dalby. I'm a nutritionist and I work with families and kids to help them through their digestive, emotional, and time management issues, the things that hold them back from getting healthy. I help them deal with. I also work with musicians and athletes as well through my business, Nourished Beat. All right, so let's get into our topic. Let's talk about the difference between a health coach versus a nutritionist versus a dietitian. So a health coach will work to guide or steer clients towards their health goals. They have to be non-serious, so you can't be talking disease, food allergies, stuff like that. They have to be very basic health goals because a health coach cannot actually prescribe a specific meal plan or a supplement protocol. A health coach can't do that, but they can steer and guide you. And health coaches are often holistic, so they're not just looking at one aspect. They are looking at the whole picture, which is really great. They're looking to help you with your overall health, which is a really important thing to look for in anybody when you're looking for any sort of help or healing with your health, okay? They also help to motivate clients, right? They're really motivating to make you look at that whole picture and get healthy, right? They're usually, I haven't met one that's not really positive and just out there to make a change. Now, they usually have studied at IIN, which means they've done about a 9-month program. It's pretty surface with nutrition. They cover a lot. I think they cover over 100 different kinds of dietary, diets, I should say. And so they're covering lots of different aspects, not one specific thing, okay? Consider a health coach to be like what a life coach would be to a psychiatrist, okay? So they're not as trained as a psychiatrist, but they can definitely help you. That sort of an idea, okay? Now that was a life coach to psychiatrist comparison, but it's that sort of thing when you're talking like a health coach to a dietitian, okay? So they're not medically trained, but they've got some good basic knowledge to help guide you in the right direction, okay? That's a health coach, okay? A nutritionist helps patients to reach their health goals also, but we can help with that healing. We can help you discover the root cause, and we can help you get specific tests that you're needing in order to kind of discover that root cause. We also look at the whole picture also. If you're a holistic, I should say, not all nutritionists, I'm a holistic one. If you're a holistic one, you also look at the whole picture as health coaches do. But we've had a few years of training as opposed to a few months. We've delved deeper and we've dug very deep into nutrition while also covering the big picture of kind of stress, sleep, all that sort of stuff as well. And depending on the type of training, for instance, I'm a nutritional counselor. So I also did that counseling side as well. And different nutritionists will go into kind of different areas in that as well. So they don't all do that. We can also prescribe specific diets based on the need or disease. And we can also do supplement protocols, but we cannot diagnose. Okay, nutritionists can't diagnose you with a disease. I couldn't say to you, oh, yeah, you got diabetes. I cannot diagnose you, but I can help treat whatever it is that you have, okay? Then let's talk about dietitians. Dietitians are very, very heavily medically trained. Okay. These are smart people who did lots of schooling. They help patients in the treatment and disease management. Okay. So they work very heavily in disease. You're often going to find dietitians in hospitals and clinics and stuff like that, working in that disease side of things. They do have to follow very, very specific guidelines. So they follow the food guide. They have to. They're protected. They have a protected title. So I cannot call myself a dietitian, okay? But I'm also not a protected name. Nutritionist is not protected. Health coaches can call themselves a nutritionist. Somebody who lost weight can claim to be a nutritionist. It's not a protected field. It's very scary being in this field when it's not protected. So I am a registered nutritionist, which proves I did the schoolwork. But unless you know to look for somebody who's registered, you could fall for anybody who says they're a nutritionist. Being a dietitian, that title is absolutely protected. So dietitians can call themselves nutritionists, but it's not the other way around. I cannot claim to be a dietitian. As a dietitian, they've got a protected title, they're highly regulated, and they must abide by very, very specific rules. which is why they have to kind of follow that food guide and stuff. They go through years of schooling. They get their bachelor's in nutritional science, and they have to do internships as well, often lasting at least a year in a hospital, usually a hospital setting. And they can diagnose. Dietitians can diagnose you with stuff. Again, nutritionists cannot. That's kind of your difference. So again, what you need to understand about this is there's nothing wrong with any of the fields, but they're very, very different. So where dietitians won't usually work with food allergies, say, because they don't go into that holistic side, nutritionists are great to go to when you've got things like those food allergies and stuff like that you're trying to manage, but health coaches can't help you with that. So it's just these different tiers. So what are your needs? Really is the question you need to ask to know who to hire. If you're looking to manage some specific health issues, get to the root, get some testing done, and get something personalized and individualized where we can actually give specific meal guides and supplement protocols, you're going to want to go to a nutritionist. That's kind of the difference between all of them. No right or wrong answer, really just based on your needs. If anybody else is in here who's within this field, what you need to understand is stop saying that you're better than the other fields and start understanding that we need to work together. We're all trying to help people, but the disclaimer I need to add in this is that you also need to know where your training stops and where you need to pass somebody on to the field above you. Okay? I will have clients come to me that I'll say, you know what? I'm a lot of money for your needs. Here's a health coach you could go see. Or I'll say, you know what? Yeah, I could and I would love to help you with this particular disease, but I actually think for your money, you're better to go see a dietitian where you can get, you know, the treatment you need and you can get the regular follow-ups you need. And I think that's really important that we recognize that. And within the specific field, I think it's also important that we recognize each person has an individual passion within the field. So I work, my two are families and kids, and then sports and musicians. Those are my two that I work in. If I get somebody in a different field who I think would be better somewhere else, I'll refer them to another nutritionist. It's just knowing our place and being willing to say, you know what, this is beyond my scope. And you can't help somebody well if you haven't trained in it. And so for me, it's really important to also, I want to help everybody, but I have to know when I need to pass them on to a dietitian because it's the safety of the person. It's their life in our hands. And that's where I find when it comes to nutrition, people often take it way too lightly. And they're like, yeah, I can help you. But you know what? This is somebody's life we're working with. I mean, I'm petrified of giving out supplement protocols because of screwing somebody up. So I take it very seriously and I spend a lot of time making sure I get it right. So we have to be willing to say, this is beyond my scope of training. I'm going to pass you on. So what I always encourage people in the field to do, in whatever field you're in the health industry, is find people within the health industry that you can get along with and trust so that you have people to pass your people on to. It's got to be people that you trust. And I find we often get this like, yeah, no, this is my territory. No, you're a health coach. You haven't trained as much as me because I'm a dietitian. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. We've all trained in our specific field because we're passionate and we went where we went for a reason and own that field, but pass them on when necessary. So a quick recap for you. Health coaches can guide you in a holistic sense usually, but they can't give specific meal plans or protocols. Nutritionists, we are trained deep into nutrition and we can give specific meal plans and supplement protocols. However, we cannot diagnose disease. Dietitians, they can diagnose disease, but they have to follow strict rules and protocols. So it's very much in a pocket and they can't go outside of that like the holistic field can usually. So if you decide to hire a nutritionist, make sure you check that they are trained and registered, okay? Trained and registered. Find out where they're registered, but make sure they're trained. So find out the school they went to and that they're registered somewhere and you're good to go, okay? Well, obviously you want to do a little more research than that on them, but just make sure those two things before you go any further in with them. Protect yourself, right? It's your life. It's your life at stake. Make sure you join my private Facebook community group where you can ask me questions anytime, totally free, SharisseDalby.com/community. You are awesome, and we'll talk to you guys later, okay? Bye, guys.